Welcome to Keep Hustling, where we are going past the why to get to the how. I'm your host, the always hustling Aaron Gordon, aka NY Risk Advisor, aka Mr. #Keep Hustling. In this podcast, we will be diving deep into the professional and personal successes of our guests to find out how they hustled through the most difficult times in their life and their development to achieve the success they've gotten to today. So buckle up for what hopes to be an amazing ride. Let's get to it. Welcome to Keep Hustling with my guest, Dave Levinger. Dave, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You know, I get pumped whenever I get someone in studio. We've discussed this many times, but to have someone in studio who is, first of all, sibling, first ever sibling to appear on the pod. We're not going to talk too much about but it was at this table that there were some naysayers about the legend that is Shlomo Levinger, which was not on recording, unfortunately, but he did a sick card trick here. But really, thank you for coming in today.
Of course.
Your hustle is one, I tell everybody, read the bio. I'm going to say in this case, which I don't usually say, check out the socials. Because if you follow Dave Levinger, we're not going to discuss golf game because that's frustrating, but maybe we will. But I'm pretty sure you never thought you'd be doing what you're doing.
No.
Right? So take us there. And obviously, Shlomo's part of that. But just like, I know the story. Share the story of how you got into what you're doing.
So it's funny. It's a great question. So basically, a few years ago, it's funny. If you go to people I was in high school with, right? So 11th, 12th grade, I was in a few different schools, right? And I saw them, let's say, at a wedding right now. They'd ask me, like, oh, what are you up to? And most people would be like, what do you mean, what are you up to? You're probably doing this a long time of your life. People know what you're up to. The question should be, how's the videography going? How's the career going? How's the business? But this actually, the reason why they asked that is because this all happened in the last few years. So I wasn't doing this in high school. This is all basically post-high school. This is the last since, like, I guess 2022, right? It's pretty recent.
I just want to give the listener some context.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to check out Dave's social because what I'm going to tell you is, and we're going to get into this.
And there's a lot there. We'll get into it.
But you're talking about somebody who has been on the floor at MSG.
Yeah.
You're talking to someone who is in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Wearing Gordon Company's hat, by the way.
And
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good call.
At an NFL game.
That's
You're
a
talking
great
about
call.
someone who has been at who has worked at a sold out MSG.
And
concert.
these all have stories, that's what I love about my job. Like you don't just end up in certain places. There's maneuvers and there's moves to make.
Well, I want to talk about that, but the point I'm making is for context. When you say this all happened since 2022,
Yeah. So the blow up, I would say, or the career and the whole business.
You literally probably, I would venture to say, but correct me if I'm wrong, didn't know how to work a camera.
No, I did not know.
January 1st, 2022.
Correct.
And now you're filming things. Now you're filming NFL games in Buffalo.
Correct.
Now let's talk about it.
So I guess I'll look at the camera for the people listening. There's a lot that's going on. There's a lot of unconventional things. I'm Jewish, and I'm doing things that just don't really make sense. But if you look outside the box, there's things that happened over the last few years, and we'll get into it. But yeah, a lot of like stadium stuff, which is cool. A lot of people have the urge of always wanting to get as close to athletes or concerts or stages as possible. And I feel like with my job, like that, I've maximized a lot of it in the last few years. So when I say that no one since high school knows what I'm doing, like that's kind of what I'm talking about in that sense.
So what happened in 2022?
So in 2020, so I just want to go back for a second. I've always been creative. I didn't wake up one morning and be like, oh, I know how to use a camera. I've always been creative. I played guitar in high school. I actually came out with a few songs in Waterbury, and I just always have a creative mindset. I was that classic kid that was not a big school guy and just always needed to think out of the box and just always thought I was going to have some career that I didn't need school and just all this stuff. And it could have been a dumb mindset in the beginning, but I do think that that's kind of what led to this whole creative thing, right?
Also, I just want to, you're tapping on something very interesting, which I think is important for the context of Keep Hustling. First and foremost, if Waterbury guys, you know who you are, musicians, you know I've been chasing you guys. If you're listening to this, come on the KHP. But
let's do it.
What's interesting is that so often people limit the possibilities of what they want to do.
It's crazy.
By saying you have to be, by saying this is the career path. When like you were always creative and then kind of, what is it that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
Yeah.
But just being open to like, I'm not sure what I want to do. I like this creative thing. People probably told you would have told you were nuts for like having a career in the creative, for lack of a better term.
I think right now in the world, if you take a leap of something you want to do, like if you have a talent and you want to make it a business, or a skill and you want to make it a business, right now, people will look at you the least weird and think you're crazy for taking that step. In 2019 or anywhere, but it's really that COVID that switched everything. Social media has become so oversaturated. But if you want to do something now, people will be like, go for it. You didn't hear go for it when I was in high school. You didn't hear, there's a way of doing life, and they call it realistic life. There's certain things you could do up until like you're married or in your 20s. And that was the way you did it. And there was that pressure for a long time that like, what if I want to do something out of the box? And I think there is something there, but the supportiveness was not there because the world just was not thinking in that direction. It was very robotic, very straightforward. And I was trying to get out of the straightforwardness, but like, I think I kind of hit what I wanted to do. And I wanted to, do this whole videography thing like in 2020 or 2022. Like it started to be more of like, people started to like the whole social media thing. The world's changed, right?
And so I tell people all the time, the idea of keep hustling is not traditional hustle culture, like hustle till you're dead, but also it's not like what our parents would say is like millennial laziness. What it is the opportunity to say, this is where I think my hustle is. I'm going to wake up every morning, and the same way that the person who's in law school is hustling, they take vacations, but they're doing that. I'm going to do this to pursue videography, and if I can be the best videographer out there that I can be successful.
Exactly.
But not, I'm sitting in my basement till 1 o'clock in the afternoon doing nothing and then playing with the camera.
Exactly.
And I think and that's where success comes from. That's where greatness comes from. So you pick up a camera in 2022.
Yeah. The reason why I picked up a camera was for my brother to start the entire thing. I've been filming his magic, I don't know, as his younger brother for a lot of years. He'd pay me like $20. We'd go out to the city. I was doing it to help him out.
I love those videos. I know you guys don't polish stuff, MLB, that stuff's amazing. It's amazing.
It's crazy where it's gone. So yeah, basically in the beginning, he was just teaching me how to use I think we're using that similar, but yeah, he had like some like ZV Sony camera. I didn't really know what I was doing. He hit record and just gave it to me.
Don't shake. Just don't shake and don't miss it.
Just there's the recorder and don't touch any of the settings. I have it down, right? And it's funny, like fast forward all the way to now, I'm the one telling him, or I'm the one producing now, and I'm telling him don't touch any of the buttons. Like it's take a total opposite role. But yeah, I started off just filming for him. I didn't mind it. I was creative, so I didn't mind filming for him, and I kind of liked the videography space a little bit. I didn't really know. And then there were points where like I started a YouTube channel. It was very odd. I feel like I'm all over the place over here, but I started a YouTube channel, and then I started using his old camera I found out was broken. This is actually a crazy story. Basically, I started filming. This podcast might be all over the place.
We love it.
I'm trying to stay in the beginning and move forward.
We're good.
We're good. For the people to know, this might sound a little all over the place. When I wanted to do videography, I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't know sports videography. I didn't even heard of that. I never even heard of, just being a videographer. I didn't know about having a business. All I knew is I wanted to create through a camera. I had no idea what that looked like. And I always knew I had some type of interesting, solid personality. People always told me, oh, you have a solid personality on camera. So when I used it was this clunky old camera that I think I got it from my brother, but it was the worst camera. It was you get it from like Costco. It was like $100 camera. And for a long time, I was using this camera to like vlog. I have a YouTube channel where there's like maybe 10 videos, but those 10 videos were where I really wanted to be a videographer. So I just started a YouTube channel. That's all I knew how to do. And I was editing 25, 30-minute YouTube videos on my phone on an app. Like what people use for social media now to do like quick edits and stuff like that. I post to TikTok and Instagram. I had a timeline on my phone for 25, 30 minutes, and I'd make YouTube videos. So that's all I knew how to do. I didn't have a MacBook. I didn't know how to open up Premiere. I didn't know how to do anything. And I think this hustle mentality from the beginning was like, I don't know how to do anything, but I know how to use the app on my phone. I bought the full version. I'm just going to use it as my editing software and create 30-minute YouTubes. And I started doing that. And yeah, it basically started there. And I was just using a phone, and I was sending somehow the stuff from the camera through an old computer to my phone. And I'd have gigabytes of stuff on my phone, actually. And I would just make like these random YouTube videos. But
You know what's crazy about
Yeah.
that? That you think about it now, it's funny. You know, those who are watching, you can't really see the studio, but in this studio we have 3 like relatively simple cameras, and then like Dave comes in with this like beast of a camera. And what's funny is, and obviously we're gonna, and here we're all about helping out the guests. So obviously he's using his camera and using content and whatever. But what's funny is like you come in, you're like, hey, can I use this camera? Meanwhile, I'm like, you think of yourself in 2022. You're like, I don't want to say that snob. Like, oh my God, I've become the guy. But what's amazing is when you think about every once in a while, and I believe this firmly as it relates to Keep Hustling, when people have those moments of questioning or despair, not sure what the next step is, if you take a step all the way back and you're like, hold on, I came from a phone that I didn't know how to edit on one app, never heard of Premiere, forgetting about making a career out of it. And I got, whether, when people want to quit, whether you quit or not, I got to here, which is definitely profession.
Sure.
Whether it's the greatest videographer in the world, I don't know. But you've done some crazy stuff. That's like miles.
It's crazy.
So to take the next foot, right, to go another foot or another couple blocks, if you will, on the walk, on the journey, is amazing. Yet people so often don't take the time to think of it and give themselves the credit for what they did.
I think it's actually a gift that when you start out in something new, whatever talent it is, not knowing how to do something is actually a gift, because when you don't know how to do something, you're figuring out the small things. Like
it's like a baby. It's like a baby messing with things.
But imagine a baby had the knowledge of like 25-year-old. You're a little baby, and like it's confusing because there's a lot of different ways to go about things. There's no way to. You don't have avenues to do things when you first start out in something. You just figure it out. Like, oh, this is how you split the video in my app, right? To 2 years later, you somehow watched a YouTube video for Premiere Pro, and you learned how to split it on Premiere Pro, and then you learned how to crop and this, and there's it's these, and it's every single day.
And you learned how to fade people out. I watched that reel you did. It was crazy.
Crazy.
When did you realize that this was it?
When the whole videography thing?
Yeah, like when. So in the beginning, I assume was like, okay, you have a client who happens to be your brother. He's throwing you $20 whenever he goes to the city. He's not going to the city every day. You're just trying not to mess things up, and you're getting $20. But then there has to be a moment where you're like, huh, I want to dig into this more. Fine, we got there. Then you're like, this is it. This is the career.
It's a great question. I think there's 2 spots. I want to go back to when I was making YouTube videos on a phone, because when people watch the YouTube videos, or I showed other videographers my YouTube videos that were made on a phone, and I told them it was made on a phone, on like a $12.99 app phone. They're like, you made this YouTube video on a phone? Ended up being a broken camera. My camera was totally broken. I was using it, and I had no idea because I didn't know how to use a camera. I knew how to turn it on, hit record. I didn't know anything. The camera was broken. I was using a phone, and people were telling me I would have no idea these YouTube videos you're editing are on a phone. And I think that in the beginning, I'm like, if I can like pull off somehow 25-minute enjoyable, entertaining YouTube videos on a phone with a broken camera, like I know there's something there. Like imagine if I learned how to use this and everything correctly, I'd be a beast, right? So that mindset in the beginning was for sure one thing. And then I think once I got this camera, is a Sony camera we're filming on right here, and I started.
By the way, if you want to sponsor Sony, we'll take it.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So
KHP and Dave Levinger Productions.
Yeah. Once I switched from the garbage camera to my new camera, I had someone invest in me. They paid thousands of dollars. They saw that I was talented, and they saw that I was confident in, building a career in a business. I got this camera, learned how to use it, and I started making reels on Instagram with it and like different highlight stuff. And I saw, and like I made an edit once actually. I made a New York Knicks edit once because I'm skipping through everything right here.
Go for it. Okay, we're gonna get it all.
We'll get into the whole sports videography.
By the way, if you're listening or watching, this is gonna be a long episode. We're gonna have fun. We're having fun.
There were videos on Instagram I was seeing, and I'm like, I want to make a video like that so badly. And the first time I made that video, and I was watching my video, I filmed it and edited it, and I saw the reel, and I'm like, the reel looked like something I didn't make. So when I made it, I'm like, this is freaking awesome. And I knew, I'm like, I got this. Like, I have it in the bag. I'm just going to continue learning. But when I basically made something I did, like, it looked like somebody else made, I'm like, I figured it out. Like, I got it. That was kind of the breaking point. I think I was in late 2022, but it was when I got my newest camera after my old camera is when I started. I've had this camera for a couple of years now, so started to really figure it out.
Did you ever think after that this wasn't it?
So I mean, imposter syndrome comes with the job. If you ask any videographer,
What do you mean, anyone?
ask any videographer.
If you ask anyone in any career.
Yeah, anyone in any career about imposter syndrome, you always think somebody's going to sniff you out. Like you don't know what you're doing. I think imposter syndrome comes from seeing better videographers on social media than you, and you're always trying to strive to match them at their skill level, when in reality, they're 10 years ahead of you, right? They're filming high-end sports credentialed game almost every single day, and you're here trying to like do a bar mitzvah, and you're like comparing yourself
with
to
the
the
budget,
people.
by the way, their budget is from the New York Knicks.
Exactly.
And Madison Square
Exactly.
Garden, and your budget is Dave Levinger.
My pocket.
Yeah, pocket, and whether you're going to buy a golf club or a camera.
Exactly.
Basically, is the idea.
So you thinking that you are in line with them, competing with them, is completely wrong. And I think imposter syndrome plays a huge role in like, oh my God, I think someone's going to figure out that I'm not as good as that guy. But in reality, like what do you have to do with a guy that's 15 years down the line than you? And that's really what social media is. They're putting it in front of your face every single day. So social media could be a good thing and a bad thing. But in the end of the day, imposter syndrome could play a role. I always feel like I'm not good. But then all I have to do is just go back to when I was like thinking like, I made YouTube videos on an app 3 years ago. Like I'm a freaking beast. So it's this like weird game you play.
I have so much to ask you. I'm gonna digress from your story just for a second because there's a question I gotta ask you as a professional videographer who's done all these crazy things. What is a harder skill to master? Mm-hmm. Trying to be invisible, or not getting caught up in watching the event and therefore missing the shot? Do you mean to explain what I mean?
Yeah, invisible in what sense?
Invisible in great Dave Levinger social media post that everyone should see, because I told you a billion times to look at social. The always lurking in the background. Like part of being the videographer is that you're
there, but you're not.
You're there, but you're not. You're invisible. Meaning to the crowd that's there, they have no interest in you being there. You're videoing for the performer, for the performance, but you have to make sure that that doesn't take away from. You can't stand in front of the guy in the front row, block his view when he paid $1,000 for a concert just to get the great shot of the performer. That doesn't work.
Correct.
That's one skill, which has got to be very hard to master. The other is, and I just see this with like my kids' events and like sporting events, which obviously I'm sure that is, you get distracted when you're shooting because like the climax is about to happen. The guy's about to dunk, and you're not looking in the camera. Instead, you look at the guy and then you kill a shot. Like those are two skills that I think nobody even realizes exist.
It's crazy. It's a great question. So on the first one, if you were to send the guy in a clown suit, right, and he starts dancing in front of the performance or in front of the athlete, right, everybody be like, what is this guy doing there? What I'm trying to get at is that someone in a clown suit is not expected to be where that person is. So then it's going to grab people's attention that something's off or something's why is that person there? For a videographer and photographers, we're expected to like be on stage or expected to be sort of on the field or on the court, right? So when a person's expected to be there, like when you're watching a concert, right, and the drummer's drumming, he's supposed to be there, right? So nobody's like, why is there? What is that drummer? It's we're invisible, but we're invisible because we're supposed to be there, right? And when the performers
I go to a lot of jet games. You're right. I'm thinking about this now. Like when you watch on TV,
you see the videographers down there. They're invisible to the game, right?
Or the 5,000 cameramen who are standing there at the end zone. But yet when you're watching the game, you don't even notice them because you're too busy focused on the game. But if there's a dude in a clown suit,
and he comes running on the field,
got it. Okay, I never thought
that's
of it that
where
way.
the invisibility goes away.
I never thought of it that way.
The idea of being there and not being there is a skill. Just like, don't be in the spotlight, be behind the spotlight, right? Like a lot of times I do like, I'll be on stage at like a Jewish concert and I want to do a shot where I come around like the singer and the spotlight's on him. There's a spotlight. You don't want to go in the spotlight. You want to go around the spotlight because the spotlight's on the singer. He's performing, right? But I can get close enough where I'm not the guy. So yeah, that invisibility thing does exist. Don't be in the shot or be in the way.
But also don't get into your own head and say...
But at the same time, when you're in the middle of the crowd watching a concert and you see a videographer circling the performer, it's not going to be like, what is it? What?
Someone call the cops.
There's a videographer. That's not how we're supposed to be there. And then your mind just plays tricks on it. It's a mind thing that it looks normal and invisible. And that's just the way I think that goes about it. The other question... I think you asked me, what was the other question?
How do you not get caught up in watching the event?
So for most so when you actually start out in videography, there's a better chance when you start out in videography, you'll get distracted or you'll stop looking at your screen and you'll totally miss something and botch an entire situation or a moment or a play or whatever it is. The more you get into videography and the more obsessed you come with being a videographer, the more you care about getting the shot more than anything. You don't even care. You don't care he just threw down a 360 windmill dunk. If it's not on your camera, you're like, my year's over. Like I can't stop. I can't go to sleep then. I can't go to sleep for a week.
And by the way, everyone else wouldn't know that you missed the shot.
I have no idea.
Because they could use a different angle, but you'll be like,
that's my camera. It's my creative.
Best angle for that, and I missed it. So they have to use the next guy.
So it's unlikely, by the way, it's unlikely if there's a Hail Mary or there's some type of crazy play in sports or some type of thing in the concert, right, where you're performing, that a veteran videographer, someone's been doing it for a couple of years, is going to look up and enjoy the concert. What you enjoy is getting the shot. So there's no reason for you to look up and watch it like a fan when you know I got it. I got it. So in the beginning, when you care less, your mind might fizzle out and be like, whoa, this is, oh my God, I'm 5 feet from the stage. But I think as you start to do it more often, you need to get the shot. And I don't think your brain allows you to look away from your camera. That's just, I think, the way it is. So I don't think it's hard. It just becomes natural to.
What do you think is the most misunderstood thing about when people see, especially on social media, videography or vlogs or all that kind of stuff? Like, where do people have no idea what your life is like? Because you've been in some crazy places.
I think for most people just watch things, right? You just watch a YouTube video, you watch a social media post, right? People have no idea what went into it. There's ideation, there's planning, right? There's getting people to be involved if need. There's videoing it, which can take 4 or 5, it can take a day, right, to be part of something and video something. You then have to go home and edit it. You then have to then cut it down or make it quick enough these days in 2025 where someone's attention span will enjoy the video. The amount of steps there are for one of those videos that you scroll through, for it to be out, is crazy. So I think a lot of people that are not in the creative space or people that are just like watching videos, they think it's just snap a finger and that video just appears when there's so much that goes on behind it. And that's just as somebody that's like a social media creator. There's a whole other side for the business aspect. There's clients and there's, people that are picky, not picky, people that don't know what they want, know what they want, people that are trying to get, a better deal price-wise. And there's a lot that goes into it. I think people that are not in the creative space, I think it's misunderstood about how much from pre-production to post-production goes into one stupid video.
Do you think that people focus who are in that too much on perfection and we've lost that? I mean, how does someone stay authentic? I'll give you an example.
This is going to sound so stupid. Yeah. I've heard this so many times. How do you just be yourself?
Yeah, but what I mean to say is like the guy, you and I were talking about like cameras and lights before, right? Mm-hmm. The guy who has 2 full-time videographers following him at all times, right? Like, by contrast, when you're filming Shlomo, who's a magician, if he's not authentic, the trick doesn't go. But like the people who get like are walking down the street and they get like that kind of stuff, like I just, it's hard for me.
When you say authentic, you're talking about like a specific like on the street type of content?
Yeah, I don't know, or how does a person not get jaded by the fact that there's just cameras everywhere and then they strive for perfection when a lot of the beauty of media nowadays is the imperfection?
So you just said it. My favorite videos is when the reason why like street stuff, whenever you watch street content, the reason why they perform so well is because people sometimes don't even know they're on camera. And then the fact that it's on the street, people are just either answering a question or doing things themselves, right? Right now.
But you're saying that, but the flip side of that is that you're saying that people don't know how much goes into it after that. How much after you film a piece of a day on the street?
A lot.
You're killing it on the back end, and it's crazy.
There's editing. So I tell people, the better the creator is, let's talk my brother for a sense, or let's talk a YouTuber. The better the YouTuber is, the more professional he knows how to be a YouTuber on the street, in my eyes, the easier and less work it is in post-production, because the guy that's on the camera, the guy that's mic'd up, he's so good at engaging people and roping people in, the way he talks on camera, the way he talks to people, the way he prepares and has the idea of going out on the street or whatever he's doing for the project. He's so good at it. It just makes the life of the editor so much easier because there's flow and there's just easiness to it. When someone is not good at being on a street or being on camera and is stale. It's his first time, and he's trying
You
to
got to
figure
do more
it out.
graphics and all. Yeah, it's like
There's so much more work for the editor in post-production to make sure he looks good. So I think just if somebody is out on the street, it depends on the person, but the more there's such thing as being a professional person on camera. The more professional they are, the easier and more fun it actually makes it for the editor. So I don't know if that answers the question, but
I'm going to ask you a question that you're probably not going to answer, so you could say that you don't want to answer, which is fine.
probably I'm going to answer, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Your favorite thing you've ever shot?
Whoa.
The moment that you were like at a place or you shot something or you met someone to shoot them, not meeting someone because you were in a place. Like you were brought in for this gig and this was the person and it was your favorite.
I think it must have been Rebo.
When he sold out the garden? Or when you got the call for that?
It has nothing to do with the garden. When I met Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, I'm just a videographer, and I got to meet them through somebody else that put in a ton of work to get there.
I knew you were going to say that.
With Rebo, it was solely me from the beginning that got the opportunity to do it. If I didn't start typing my thumbs on a phone, I'm never getting there.
And that is what Keep Hustling is all about. That's why I asked the question. Because,
yeah,
yes, the people who have gotten us where we've been in places, I'm not knocking that. But the satisfaction or the pure pride that a person feels when it's their handiwork that got them the next opportunity.
There's nothing better.
It's nothing better. And again, by the way, probably I am not knocking standing on the field in Buffalo. I am not knocking that, right? I am not knocking meeting Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. Or didn't you go to like someone's house or something?
I think Alex Bregman.
Yeah, like
crazy.
Probably really cool walking to that house. But like they didn't reach out to say, hey, Dave, come film us. Right? Like had they, that feels differently than Rebo selling out the garden. Crazy. The world was in a crazy place. Like
that was one of my favorite times ever. You want to hear the steps to how I got there?
Yes.
So
for those who don't know, Rebo is the world's most famous Jewish Israeli singer. He's
by far,
but he's the first ever religious Jew to sell out Madison Square Garden.
I don't think maybe besides Avram Fried. Avram Fried has that status.
It's not close.
I don't think there's another Jewish that can just get a headliner at Madison Square Garden.
It's not close.
Doesn't exist.
So he had this concert
for the non-Jewish following. Yeah. The Jewish music industry is very, 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 very small.
And this guy is
not that big. I think he has under 100,000 followers on Instagram.
But he's huge in the market.
So he's big and small, to put it that way.
Nicest guy in the world.
Okay, I got to think about this for a second. How did this whole start? Okay, Shlomo. I feel like a lot of things start with Shlomo, so thank you, Shlomo. Thank you, Shlomo Leib. Yeah, a lot of things stem from you, and then I get to build off of that, which is pretty awesome. Shlomo, when he first started career...
Little did the Levinger parents know when these two delinquents were destroying their house. Bunch of clowns. Sorry.
Yeah.
One would be Shlomo, and then Shlomo would bring Dave along, and Dave would become Dave. Okay,
crazy.
Fine.
Okay, so the steps to how I pulled off filming Rebo at Madison Square Garden. There's this guy by the name of Eli Katz. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying his name. I don't really care. This guy, Eli Katz, found my brother Shlomo when Shlomo first started out in magic. He was not anything yet, but saw that there was something there, and he was good at what he did and potentially really, really good at what he was going to do. He started helping out my brother and getting Shlomo jobs. Obviously, just being a broker, he would take a cut, I'm pretty sure. I don't have all the information. All I knew is that he would randomly get my brother jobs. My brother would take the jobs, and between that, they got to know each other. I think Ellie really liked my brother, and as my brother got bigger, I guess they got to know each other. They broke off. My brother was doing his thing. He didn't really need Eli Katz anymore. That's the way I think I know it. Could be wrong. From there, Eli Katz got involved with Rebo. I'm not exactly sure the dynamic of the agents and what the positions are with Rebo. All I know is that Eli Katz has something to do with Rebo. I know he has he has people in Israel that are like his agents, and he has people when he comes to America that help him out here. And there's a group of a few people that are part of the Rebo situation that are in America. When I saw there was a gig I went to that I was filming for YK Events, Yankee Katz, great dude, where there's another Israeli dude, very, very big, was performing.
Hanan Ben-Ari.
No.
Omer Adam.
No. Very similar to Rebo, and I'm blinking out again.
Shmuel.
No. We're going around him.
Gosh,
right
we're
now.
going around him.
Whatever. There's another big Israeli singer that was performing that night. It was like a small little venue, and he also had to do with the singer, and he was there just like managing, overseeing, making sure he was good with his traveling, whatever. He was there. I went over to him and I introduced myself. I'm like, hey, I'm Shlomo's brother, and like he was super happy. So he was like, oh, Shlomo, great guy, whatever it was. And from there, I built like a little bit of some sort of just meeting him in a relationship. And I told him who I was. I told him I'm a videographer, blah, blah, blah. We took a picture. That was it. From there, that's the only contact I have to Rebo. So if I'm ever going to go for Rebo at Madison Square Garden, I have one little contact ever, and I met him once, and he happens to like me and my brother a little bit, and I use that basically to my advantage. So what happened is that I
Yosef
saw...
Karduner.
What?
Yosef Karduner.
No.
I'm listening to him.
We're going to get there, though.
Yeah, we're going to get there.
We're going to get there. When I saw Rebo was coming to America, to New York, and playing Madison Square Garden, first thing was like, huh? What in the world? Like, Madison Square Garden? Like, I was like double checking, like the biggest players in the world, the biggest singers, the biggest performers play at Madison Square Garden. It's no jokes. So when I saw he was headlining at Madison Square Garden, I'm like, it's a 16-minute train ride for me. At this point, it was already like maybe a year or two into what I was doing. And I love hustling. I love trying to maneuver, and I love cracking the knuckles. Let's go. I don't care what happens. I don't care. I'm filming for Rebo. I don't know what I have to do, but I'm just gonna make it happen.
Even if I'm not the guy, I'm just gonna show up there with the camera. But I gotta find a way to be the guy.
If I have to sneak in, I might sneak in. So that was where it all started. So I messaged Eli Katz. I had his number. I messaged him 2 weeks before the concert, which was way too late. And I basically messaged him, and he was like, he replied back. He's like, this is not really my department. You have to check with the media department and blah, blah, blah. And he was making it sound all official. I don't know if it is official. I still have no idea. But he's like, let me check. Let me get back to you. He ended up getting back to me and said, I don't know, you asked a little too late. It doesn't seem like it's so doable. The concert came around, and I wasn't filming the concert. I didn't do it. But I took a shot. I took a crack at what possibly might have made me get there. That didn't happen. Fine. Life goes on. Year 2, Rebo's coming back to Madison Square Garden. In my mind, I promise you, I'm filming Rebo this year. I don't know how, but I made sure to reach out basically right when the flyer came out, right to Eli Katz.
Right. What's not gonna happen is they're not gonna tell me I reached out too late.
Exactly.
If I find out, bang.
No, I'm not gonna reach out too late. And I messaged him again, and I got like kind of the same like fugazi response. And I'm like, I know this is not your department, but can you connect me to somebody? Connect me to somebody in the department, somebody that could just help me out here, because I have a good idea. I have a lot to offer here, and I think this could be a good thing. So I remember the first couple times back, it was like very fugazi. I'm like, well, why can't he help me out here? And then finally, I got a contact of somebody that could help me out. He sends me a contact. He's like, if you message him, he could help you out. He sends me the number. I open it. The contact was already in my phone. I'm like, who? What? Who is this guy that I already know that's in my phone? That this is apparently the direct, like, social media people for Rebo. So this guy, I'll leave him nameless. I know he does not want to be named. I met him once. Also, I didn't know. I worked for Freilich, the wedding band, for the first year of when I really started doing this in like 2023. I worked for Freilich as a Jewish music band for a year straight.
Just filming their content.
Filming their social media, which is also another story. Crazy. That's how I learned a lot of my stuff. But I was a social media full-time with a band exclusive to Freilich, doing their social media for a full year. At one of the gigs, I think I might have took a picture or a video of this guy talking to like the main like guy that runs Freilich, and he wanted the picture. So I sent it to him on WhatsApp. I didn't know who he was. He looked important in the way like he just did things looked important. And he happened to be, there were other Israeli singers that were doing this wedding or concert or whatever it was. He was managing them, that's why he was there. So I messaged him. I'm like, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. I met you once. Probably don't remember. Sent you a dope photo, actually. But I see Rebo's coming up in Madison Square Garden. I have an offer that if you're smart at business, you shouldn't be turning down. And I basically offered him this. I said, I'm a professional videographer, professional editor. I've been doing this for years. I've been doing music for years, concerts, sports. If you go to my Instagram, it's clear that I have high quality, good stuff. And I said, if you give me a media credential and let me film for Rebo for free, all you have to do is give me a piece of paper that allows me to do what I need to do as a professional. You get professional I charge thousands of dollars for what I do. You get free footage. And if you want, I can make you an edit, whatever you want. If you need pictures, I got you. But whatever you need, I'll do it for free. Because to me, filming for Rebo is a huge marketing situation in my personal branding.
It's a good bet.
It should be a no-brainer. If I'm running Rebo stuff and I see somebody as top quality.
Even if I have someone else, even if I'm paying someone else.
Of course.
What happens if, as we were talking about before, Dave gets the shot?
There's no such thing as too many cameras. There's just no such thing, especially in Madison Square Garden. If you look at an NFL field, there are 178 cameras.
It's not in this studio where 4 people stand right.
Exactly. And usually there's one viral shot, and not everybody gets the shot because there's angles and stuff like that. Point being is, I told him I'd get him free footage. You can use that for future promos. You can use that for an immediate highlight video. You can use that for any marketing sense with footage, right? Now, what wouldn't be worth it for him if he checked out my Instagram and I was somebody that started out 4 months ago and my footage was not good.
And then you're the guy who's got the footage and you're throwing it out on the internet and it makes the concert look less.
Exactly. And there's also no value to him if the footage I'm shooting is, he can't even use it, right?
100%.
Like, why would he give me a media credential if there was no value in it? So he's like, he texted me back, not really even checking out my stuff. He's like, it's good, we have it covered. I actually know the person that films like Rebo's concerts in America, but he's like, yeah, we have it covered. Don't worry. Like, I apologize, but I don't think it's gonna work. So he's like, get back to me if you want in a few weeks. We'll see if anything changes. But other than that, I don't think we need you. I'm like, okay. What he doesn't know is I'm not taking a no for an answer. Like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't care. What I said to him was, I'm like, respectfully, I think this would be a great business decision to bring me on. He's like, okay, what's your Instagram? So I sent him my Instagram. He's like, okay, I'll get back to you if anything, blah, blah, blah. That's where the conversation ended. 2 days later, I get I get a DM from his Instagram on my Instagram, right? What's your email address? So I'm like, I send him my email. I'm like, why? He's like, oh, I'm sending you a media credential pass for Madison Square Garden. Bang. And all I knew is I just needed him to check out my Instagram. Because once you check out my Instagram, I know I've worked really hard on my portfolio. I know that you'll see my quality. And I'm offering it for you for free. And you're seeing the quality. And that doesn't match up in your head to be like, all right, let me just give this guy a media credential. It's worth it.
About this story.
So,
what was it like walking into MSG? We got to wrap up. What was it like when you walked into MSG?
Oh my God. Walking into MSG, it was like, I mean, you go to so many Knicks and Rangers, it's an iconic place. And you walk out onto the floor and like, your mind, it's just like this place, it feels much bigger on the floor. And your heart starts rushing, but you got to quickly lock in. You got to lock in. That's a lot of the videography job is just like right in the beginning, like let your mind wander. This is crazy, blah, blah, blah. But just, you got to snap back into your camera and just do your job, because that's, at the end of the day, like, people want good footage. They want good camera work. They want good work. And if you're going to be somebody that's always, your mind's all over the place and you're not locked in, then your product's not going to be good. So I think just having a natural sense of just being locked on your camera, getting the shot is important.
I love everything about this episode. We got to wrap up. I have one more question,
Sure.
then we're going to go to the close. What's next? What's the dream?
I want to start hopefully a media agency where I have editors under me. It's in the works right now.
It's going to be hard to give that up, though. You're a perfectionist, so it's going to be hard.
Yeah, but I'm working with a lot of good creatives that are
That's good. It's good to have that balance, too.
Yeah.
Like a little...
And if you ever want to be successful in anything, it's impossible to do it yourself. Name me one successful business where it's a solo one-person business. I never even heard of one, right? So you're going to have to end up delegating at some point. You got to just train the people to do it the right way. Not everybody's going to be as good as you. Sometimes it's important to hire people that are more talented than you. I used to never think that way. I always thought I would have to.
100%. It's
I
part
always,
of the hustle.
I always thought I'd have to hire people that are not good and train them to be good. But people have changed my mindset of, if people can buy into what you're doing, right? They could buy into, they see that you've done things in MSG or done things in MetLife, or you've done some crazy, crazy things, and you have good connections and you have good business. If they're more talented than you and they buy in, you're working with more talented people. And
love that.
you start delegating, you start sending work to more talented people. And sometimes in the beginning it could be investment because you're paying them. At the end of the day, it's an investment. So I think hopefully in the future, I have some very, very, very talented people that are working for me, and we're executing a great business with good customer service, good personal branding, and just straight up awesome videography. I think that's the main goal going forward.
I love the hustle of Dave Levinger. We ask our guests at the end of every episode to leave us with their favorite motivational or inspirational quote. So that's my last question, and we'll go from there.
I'm not a big quote guy. I know a lot of people are just like, yeah, this guy. I'm not a big quote guy, but I think a message to everybody is that if you have a skill and you're mediocre at it and you're not even that good at it, right? There's so much there to turn it into a business. And if you're taking a talent of yours and turning it into a business, I think maybe this is a quote: you don't work a day in your life for something you love, or somewhere in that sense. But
if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
That's my quote. And it's one of my favorite quotes, and it's so true. And right now I'm doing it. I can't even imagine working a 9 to 5 right now.
Kill your golf game.
Oh my God. And when you work for yourself, you have the ability to, take time off if you need. You don't have to ask your boss because you are the boss. And just working for yourself is a very, very pleasurable thing, but you don't just get there. You have to put in the work in the beginning, I think, to put yourself in a position to be able to work for yourself and financially take care of yourself and hopefully a family. But
Absolutely love that.
Do something that you love, turn it into a business. Don't be scared just because in 2017, the way to go about life was go to school and get a college degree and go find a job. Like, that's not how the world is anymore. Sorry for the older people. Life has changed. The world has changed. And there's ways to do things where you legitimately love what you do. And that's my brain's thought like that since I was probably a baby. So that's my share to everybody.
I love that. This has been another episode of Keep Hustling. Remember, do well by doing good. And of course, and always, just like Dave, keep hustling. Thanks for being here, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate
you.
That
was awesome.
All right, hustlers, that brings us to the end of another fantastic episode. Thank you for listening. The listeners are the most important part of this show. If you like what you heard, please leave us a review wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more listeners. Plus, be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. We have some amazing guests and topics lined up for you, and we don't want you to miss out. And finally, if you have any suggestions, comments, or even just want to say hello, please feel free to reach out to us on all social media platforms. We are Keep Hustling Pod on Instagram, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We would love to hear from you to continue the conversation. Thanks again for tuning in and supporting our podcast. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, stay curious, stay hungry, and keep hustling.